Happy Friday, everyone. Love saying that sort of thing. All right. If you're wondering why I'm dressed like this, no, I'm not trying to start a brand new fashion trend. I got some more ink added onto my arm. I'm not going to show you. It looks horrendous at the moment because it's still fresh. But I I had to sleep in this shirt, and then I didn't have the heart to take my shirt off this morning and change. So when I took my kids into school, I basically threw this hoodie half on, and well, here I am. I can barely care for myself at this point. I'm kidding. I'm fully functional as an adult. Well, most of the time, but here we are. It's Friday, April 16th, and I woke up this morning in a very interesting state because I've been paying a little attention to some of my investments lately, and I noticed something rather fascinating. Is that a certain meme-based cryptocurrency decided to just completely take off and do some crazy things. One of those, man, I wish I'd put a lot more money into it a long time ago sort of situations, but I did have a little bit in here, and I did post a nice little extra, which, I mean, I'm not exactly quitting my job, but we'll say I got my original investment out of that. I was thinking that's really cool. That's awesome. I go on Twitter, and people are talking about, oh, can Dogecoin hit $1? Can it hit $10? And I'm thinking, well, okay, over time, maybe. People said the same thing about Bitcoin. Hey, is it going to hit $1? Is it going to hit $10? Well, Bitcoin right now is over $60,000 per coin, which is, man, I remember hearing about Bitcoin and how cool this thing is, and it was like $2 a piece back when it first launched. Yeah, kind of makes you want that time machine at this point. But a lot of this stuff, that you can make the case for things like Bitcoin and Ethereum making sense in terms of having some utility in the real world. Maybe not so much anymore, but something like a Dogecoin was created as a meme. It was created as a joke, basically, sort of making fun of cryptocurrency. Hey, can we turn a meme into a cryptocurrency? Can we attach some sort of fluctuating value to this? And it was meant as sort of a ridicule, poking fun at least that's what I've heard, that's what it's meant to be. That it's sort of poking fun at this ephemeral quality of cryptocurrency and how just really ridiculous and unstable it is. And then people started taking it seriously. Sort of recently in 2018, it spiked and then went back down again. And then in the last few months, it's just shot up from like 1/5 of a cent to 6 cents, and it was riding that high for a while. 14 cents about just a few days ago, and then it peaked this morning at, I was watching it. It peaked at something like 48 cents a coin, which doesn't seem like that much, but if you were one of the folks who were originally invested in it, at like 1/5 of a penny or less, then you made quite a return on your investment. I remember last year, actually, I bought in like 8,000 Dogecoin at, just for fun. I spent like $40 on it, and I got 8,000. And that would cost, to get 8,000 Dogecoin right now would cost you something like $3,500 to $4,000 right now to buy that much. It's like $3,000 to $4,000 to buy 8,000. So yeah, I ended up selling that. That before you're like, oh, Lauer, you made so much money. I'm like, I ended up selling that and made like like $40. I made my $40 back plus another $40, and I was like, oh great, I got out of this. Now there's that. I ended up buying in a while back, so it was interesting. It was an interesting ride. Made a little money, took a little bit out, basically doubled my investment again, but I didn't sell all of it out. So, if it goes back up, great. If it doesn't, well, hey, I made a small profit off of it, and the rest is fun money. But it got me thinking. How, there's really no use, no like real world value for this type of cryptocurrency. And, some people could argue that cryptocurrency is all kind of funny money anyway. Well, you could also argue that currency in general is all funny money because, it's not really based on anything real or tangible. But all of this got me thinking about how this is so reliant on trends. You had the GameStop trend with Wall Street bets. That was driven heavily by, just people getting together and creating a meme, literally a meme of this stock, and having that take off, go viral, and then just spread its influence. It got me thinking last night about how so much of the stock market in general is based on just trends. And these trends are, sort of tied to the company's fundamentals and, how the company is performing. But there can be so much about a company's stock price and how much money that company is worth just based on people's feelings about memes, people's feelings about, how they're feeling about the stock that day. People buy in because they're like, oh yeah, I heard about this. My friend Bob just bought a bunch of GameStop. I'm going to do that too. And then, oh yeah, my friend Bob just sold a bunch of GameStop. I'm going to do that too. And the price fluctuates, goes up and down. It doesn't matter if it's retail investors. You get the big hedge funds and, they're doing their research and stuff, but still they're making opinionated judgments that affect the stock price. And it's all based on trends. So I was doing a little more digging, and I found this CNN article, which I linked down in the description just now in case you want to read more of it. It's trends and styles for 2020's biggest fashion trends reflect a world in crisis. And I thought this was really interesting because, we know about fashion trends. You have politically based fashion trends. You've got trends that are built out of necessity. Everyone having to wear face masks. Well, all right, let's see if we can integrate face masks as a fashion item, as a piece of clothing that's trendy, that fits with your personal sense of style. Trends can create political movement, political upheaval. Trends can create or spark change, and it all comes back to this memes. Spreading an idea. A meme is just an idea. It's an idea that people can take and reproduce and share and modify. That's all it is. And that drives trends, which drives so much of societal behavior, of human behavior. Chasing trends can be kind of fun. Trends can define decades. We can use trends in music and clothing to, really tell where a certain piece of art or a certain person's taste in pop culture comes from. You've got the disco era, you've got the 80s, you got 80s music, hair metal bands. My personal sense of style tends to be stuck somewhere in the 90s. I was a 90s kid in the 90s. I wasn't really up on 90s fashion trends at the time. It wasn't until like maybe the last, 10 or 15 years where I started really settling into my sense of style, and it was kind of accidental. I started wearing a lot of like checkered flannel and hoodies and stuff, just because that's it kind of fit for my job as a shop teacher, and I liked wearing hoodies. And then I woke up a couple years ago and was just like, you know what, my style for the last 10 years has just been kind of 90s grunge. And I'm just going to pretend that all of my ratty painted jeans are intentional, not because I've had them for 10 years and literally painted everything with them. So sort of an accidental 90s style, but I've embraced that, and that sort of thing's coming back into fashion. Trends cycle through. They don't stay, they don't stay stable. That's what makes them trendy, So for everyone who's gotten rich off of a particular stock or Bitcoin or Dogecoin or someone, there's always going to be somebody who, was chasing that trend, didn't really buy into that trend until the very peak. And then it's like the guy who, sees all his friends wearing, wearing Nike clothes or something. That's a really bad example because, that's people are always wearing Nike clothes. Somebody wearing a certain type of, everybody wearing a certain type of shirt, and a guy holds out for a long time, then finally breaks down and goes and buys that shirt, and then goes over to his friends and says, hey, look how cool I am. But then all his friends have moved on to something else. And that's not a real world example, by the way. That didn't happen to me or anything. That's just purely hypothetical. Yeah. But there's always going to be somebody who sort of gets in on the peak of the trend, and then kind of rides it down to the end as everyone else is starting to move on. There's folks who just never really, there's people who just have never even paid attention to this Dogecoin. They may have heard it in a joke somewhere and was like, what's that? I don't care, and just never paid attention to it. Then there's people like me who tend to wait until the popularity of a trend is over, and then wait a long time after that, and then finally jump back into that trend. So by the time that trend comes back around, it's vintage and it's cool again. So yeah, my 90s fit is, it's making its rounds back. And I'm just going to pretend I was ahead of the curve. I don't know why I had this slide. Why did I have this slide in here? Oh, yeah, because this is another trend that I don't know if you've heard of these, the NFTs. These are basically digital art that they've somehow managed to tie into the Ethereum blockchain. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, it just doesn't make any sense. People are literally spending thousands and millions of dollars on not digital artwork, like, hey, I bought the rights to this digital artwork so that I can use it in my YouTube video or my photo essay or something. People are buying just the idea of artwork. That's the best way I can put it. And they're turning it into like a cryptocurrency sort of thing where, you can have the value of a particular piece of art goes up or down depending on supply and demand and popularity and trends and, how popular that artist is. So some people are using it to collect art, although they're not actually collecting the art, they're collecting the idea of owning the art, which is really, really dumb and ridiculous until you realize that Dogecoin is a literal meme, which you could consider a piece of art that has had some flexible value tied to it. So I guess the proof of concept has already been laid for this NFT business. It's still ridiculous, but hey, it's trendy. It's not meant to make sense. At least it's not bad tribal tattoos. No, we're not doing that again. No. Anyway, folks, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I just wanted to talk to you guys about trends, and all that came about partly because of my very red, angry, tattooed arm, and the fact that Dogecoin has gone to the moon this morning. So anyway, you guys have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday. Bye, guys.